Big dubs, baby. The Toronto Maple Leafs with their first shutout of the season. Jack Campbell with a hell of a performance. Toronto Maple Leafs 4-0 complete game. Let's get it going in the comment section. We got a jam-packed show here tonight. I'm your guy Jake. This is Maple Leafs Media, and tonight the Toronto Maple Leafs only added to their case to be Canada's team. This team now has a 6-point lead on the Edmonton Oilers, and we need to continue to build upon this over the next 2 games in Alberta. Everyone, leave your comments, thoughts in the comment section. It's going to be a good show. It's going to be exciting. Smash that like button, hit the notification bell if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're on Facebook, share this video. Tell a friend to tell a friend. I saw a comment in here before I even started the show, so I'll get to it right away. The 3 stars of tonight's game: Mitch Marner, 1 goal, 1 assist. He's a hell of a playmaker. He's been using that shot more frequently, and you love to see it. Jack Campbell, 30 saves on 30 shots. 3rd shutout of his career. Great game from Jack Campbell. The team rallied around him. And then John Tavares. We saw John Tavares have a much-needed spark. And I want to start off this show with a viewer interaction question. This is something new I'm doing on these post-game shows. It's a true or false statement, and I want you to answer. Is this true or is this false? This was the performance that John Tavares needed, and it will boost his confidence going forward. And he will build upon this over the next few games. Is that a true or false statement? Let me know, because I absolutely think it's true. John Tavares had 2 assists, 5 shots on goal tonight. He was all over the place. He was very noticeable on both ends of the ice. I loved what I saw from our captain, Johnny Toronto. So let me know, is this true or false? ASC says true. We got all true. True, true, true. So true. Yes, John Tavares, he's been struggling by his standards this season. He hasn't been at that point per game pace this season specifically. As a whole, with the Toronto Maple Leafs, 167 points in 167 games. That's very impressive. But tonight, I think that this is a building block, and he's going to use this as a stepping stone going forward this season. Watch John Tavares continue to build upon this. His performance, it's only going to go up. He came into the season, I felt as if it could be a career year, but we've seen him kind of not perform up to his standards. I expect him to live up to the hype, and I expect him to build upon this. True, true. So everyone's with me. This is true. John Tavares is our captain. We expect a lot from John Tavares, so we'll see it. We'll see him continue this. Old School says, who are the 3 stars of the game again? 3 stars. First star was Mitch Marner. Mitch Marner all over the place tonight. All over the place, a goal, an assist. Great on the power play as always, setting up William Nylander. Jack Campbell, number 2. He had that shutout, 30 saves tonight. This whole team rallied behind Jack Campbell in his return. And the 3rd star, John Tavares, finally getting it going. You love to see that. But there's something that happened earlier in this game I want to touch on, because I feel like this was a turning point as well for the Toronto Maple Leafs. You saw Jack Campbell get run by Tyler Ennis. He got crashed into by Tyler Ennis, and I love to see the reaction that we saw from Justin Holl. This is a team. This team is playing with a lot of togetherness, and it's really showing. Look at this. So Jack Campbell gets run into, and Justin Holl stands up for him. The whole team rallies behind their goaltender, and that's how it should be. Nobody can take a shot at our goaltender, intentional or not. Justin Holl stands up for it. Protect that crease, big man. That's our leading block shot player. That's our leader in block shots. Justin Holl's been outstanding this year, and he's a guy who's really protecting our goalie. You love to see that. Huge rallying point for the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight. William Bennett doesn't agree with the 3 stars tonight. Not my rankings. This is the rankings that they did in Edmonton. So Not my rankings. Leafs Forever says limited McDavid to one shot and a plus minus of -3 tonight. That's outstanding and that's awesome because Connor McDavid, he always turns it up against the Toronto Maple Leafs. I think there's only been one other game against the Maple Leafs where he didn't have a point. Great performance, shutdown performance from everybody on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Love to see it. So there's been comments in here about is there a goalie controversy? Jaden here says, this is Campbell's third game, relax. You wouldn't say Hutchinson should be the starter. We have three capable goalies. We absolutely have three capable goalies. The Toronto Maple Leafs have three goalies with a winning record this season. That is very impressive. I loved what I saw from Jack Campbell. I absolutely did. But I cannot say that we have a goalie controversy yet. Frederik Andersen has been doing this for far too long. Jack Campbell has never been a starter in the NHL. So I can't say that it's a goalie controversy yet. Yet is the key word. Frederik Andersen struggles and Jack Campbell continues to play the way he has been, then we can talk about a goalie controversy. He's been in 3 games this year. 3 games. You can't go off of that. He had a heck of a performance tonight, secured the first shutout for the Toronto Maple Leafs. But it's such a small sample size of what we've seen from Jack Campbell. It is not yet a goalie controversy, but it could very well become one if Jack Campbell continues playing the way he has been. It's been outstanding what we've seen from him, and I love the fact that we have 3 goalies with a winning record. That's so valuable. If either of these guys go down, like Jack Campbell and Frederik Andersen, they have went down, I can now say I have some confidence in Michael Hutchinson starting. Maybe not when we get out of the North Division, but in this North Division, I have confidence with Michael Hutchinson starting. The Toronto Maple Leafs have been much better defensively in front of their goaltenders, and we can rely on Michael Hutchinson to make the necessary saves. And as long as we have the goal support, we will get the win. It's really been great to see what the Toronto Maple Leafs goalies have been doing. This is just the 3rd shutout of Jack Campbell's career, and it was a 30-save performance, so it didn't come easy. It did not come easy for Jack Campbell. He had a hell of a performance, and you love seeing the way he responded to the adversity of coming back from that injury. He has been out since January 24th, over a month now, and he gets right back into it with a shutout. Great performance, but I'm not ready to call it a goalie controversy yet. Too early for that. Not yet. We could be saying we have a 1A and 1B in Freddie and Jack Campbell, and I would prefer that because Frederik Andersen, in seasons past, he's played far too many minutes. He played the 3rd most minutes in the NHL by a goaltender last season. Carey Price, Connor Hellebuyck were the only 2 with more minutes played, and Frederik Andersen, come playoff time, he was exhausted. That's what happens when you just play Frederik Andersen nonstop. Your goalie, he's facing so many shots. He gets exhausted out there, very fatigued. And now that we have Jack Campbell, I expect Jack Campbell to get more starts. But we can't call it a goalie controversy until he really forces it to be a goalie controversy. And one shutout, that's not enough to say it's a goalie controversy yet. Let's get to some comments here. Nevin says, Leafs shut down a red-hot offense tonight. Proves that we can now play a good defensive game. You know who looked outstanding tonight? And I haven't said this yet this season. TJ Brodie. That Jason Spezza goal, it was all started by the play of TJ Brodie. He had a magnificent play, poking that puck up the ice. Jimmy Vesey gets his first point in 15 games. You like to see the assist. And vintage Jason Spezza fakes a slap shot, goes top shelf. Amazing goal from Jason Spezza. It was all the play started. It was developed when TJ Brodie had an amazing play. It was stellar to see that. I loved everything I saw from this Maple Leafs tonight. Bogo is Bogosian is overperforming, says Old School. Bogosian has been fitting into his role perfectly. He's a bottom six. He's a bottom pairing guy. Playing him with Travis Dermott, I love it. He's a veteran presence, and he's been doing his job. He's been doing his job, and he knows his role. That's what's important. You need to know your role on this team, and he absolutely does. He plays his role perfectly. Dorky Dave says the best game of the year for Johnny T, John Tavares. It was his best game of the season. I agree with you. He had 2 assists, didn't get a goal, but the goals are going to come. I said earlier in this show, I said a true or false statement, and everybody agreed with the statement. It's true. This is a performance that he will build upon going forward, and he's going to have a massive confidence boost from this performance tonight. 5 shots on goal, and he was great defensively as well. It was a great performance from John Tavares. You love to see that from your captain and your leader. SJTC says that play by Brody was an example of that desperation, the reach and poke. The reach and poke was a great play. It was like NHL, one of the NHL video games. You just lie down, you press the top buttons, you lie down, poke that thing up, and Jimmy VC and Jason Spezza were gone on the 2-on-1. Spezza looks off Jimmy VC, fake slap shot, vintage Jason Spezza, great goal. Zach Hyman's goal tonight was amazing, outworking, I think it was Darnell Nurse in the corner down low. Comes out top shelf, top cheese, great celebration. Zach Hyman, our workhorse, getting rewarded. Love seeing this. The Toronto Maple Leafs, Joseph Demerchant. Sorry if I butchered your last name there, but best 60 minutes from the Leafs yet. 100% it was. 100% I agree with you. I concur. I am with you. This was the most dominant performance the Maple Leafs have had this season. From puck drop to the 60th minute of this game, we dominated. And that's not something we've done too many times this year. I can think of maybe 1 or 2 other performances that we've dominated the entire game. And tonight, we dominated. This is the Toronto Maple Leafs division. We are Canada's team. 60-minute performances is what we're going to need, and it was a great one from the Toronto Maple Leafs. This North Division is the test. It's a test for later in the season once we hopefully get out of the North Division and face some tougher teams. Jake Ozzie. Great comment, Jake. That Spezza goal doesn't happen without Brody putting everything into getting the puck out. TJ Brody was outstanding tonight, and it wasn't just that one play either. There's a play where Connor McDavid, at the beginning of the game, he looked dangerous. I thought it might be a long night when I saw Connor McDavid flying out there, but after the first period, he wasn't really as noticeable as he usually is. Connor McDavid deked around TJ Brody, but Brody stuck with the play. It was all heart, and he got that puck, put it into the corner. Great play by TJ Brody. He looked really good out there. Solid performance from TJ Brody tonight. And Morgan Riley as well looked great. That top pairing looks like they're starting to build some chemistry together. Tavares was strong, Old School. Very strong. William Bennett, great comment. Marner makes anyone he plays with look good. And that's not a shot at John Tavares. Mitch Marner does make anyone he plays with, he makes them better. Not just look better, he makes them a better player. Elite playmaking ability. And now that he's adding that shot to his arsenal, he's got 10 goals on the season. He always had the shot, but he just never really shot as frequently. And now he's been shooting and he's been scoring. He is lethal, and just watch out for Mitch Marner this year. Watch out for him. Every game he seems to be doing amazing things, and playing with Mitch Marner, you're automatically a better player because of it. Joe Thornton is playing on a line with Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews. He's looked great out there as well, but he's definitely benefiting from playing with these 2 players right here. Well, Mitch Marner being one of them. Too Many Sodium says, good game by the boys tonight. Glad Glad Campbell was able to come back with that shutout. It was a great story. It was a great story to see Jack Campbell come back after the injury, after the Matthew Tkachuk incident. January 24th was the last time he played, and it was a great performance from Jack Campbell. And it wasn't just Jack Campbell tonight. He had 30 saves, yes, but the team in front of him, stellar performance. It was solid performance all around. Jack Campbell, great story. His third career shutout, and it's not a goalie controversy yet. I'm just going to continue saying that. Not yet. Not yet. Joseph Clark says, love the show. Thank you, Joseph. And with that, that brings me to this. If you haven't already, if you're watching this on YouTube, smash that like button. Hit the notification bell to be notified every time some new content's coming out on Maple Leafs Media. Always pumping out the content for you guys. And if you're on Facebook, please share this video. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Maple Leafs Media's got big things coming. Let's go. This is Canada's team. This is Canada's team. And we have a 6-point stranglehold on this division. It's been great, and Toronto Maple Leafs are looking good. Old School says, will be a tough next week for the Maple Leafs. We got 2 more games against the Edmonton Oilers coming up, and the Edmonton Oilers are going to be looking for revenge. Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, they were furious tonight. We need to continue the performance and stop them on Monday night. It's late 10 p.m. game, Eastern Standard Time. So the Toronto Maple Leafs need to keep it up. Jack Trout is very impressed with Travis Boyd. I have been too. He's been looking good. A great offseason signing, small salary, and he's been fitting his role perfectly. He's contributed a couple goals, a lot of block shots. He's won a Stanley Cup back in 2016, so he's a very valuable piece to this team, and just more depth, another depth piece that can play on the power play, penalty kill. Travis Boyd is a guy who goes under the radar a lot. He can do a lot of things. Jaden says Thornton can take the puck off anybody. Okay, so Joe Thornton, let's talk about him for a second. That brings me to Joe Thornton. Joe Thornton, coming into the season, all I saw was comments everywhere. And this was Maple Leafs fans and fans just around the NHL. Joe Thornton's 41 years old. He's too old. He's never going to make it. He's going to be a fourth-line center at best. He's going to deal with injuries, all this. He's dealt with injuries. It happens. But he's put up 9 points in 9 games. Sure, he's benefited from playing on that top line with Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews, but who wouldn't? You know what I'm going to go out here and say? Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner also benefit from playing with Jumbo Joe. Future Hall of Famer. Easily Hall of Famer. Probably a first ballot Hall of Famer. He is a legend in hockey. He's a hell of a playmaker, and he sets things up as well. He's got great high hockey IQ, and anyone who plays with Jumbo Joe is going to benefit. Last year, his line mates were Marcus Sorensen and Kevin LeBlanc. That's really tough to do anything with, and a lot of people said, I don't really think Jumbo Joe has it anymore. Well, he's proving that he's still got it. 9 points in 9 games. You put him on a line with players who can produce at the rate Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews can, he's going to perform, and he's going to do it well. I've loved everything I've seen from Jumbo Joe this year. That was a great signing by Kyle Dubas for the league minimum. He is under a league minimum contract, and he's playing the left wing position on the first line at a point per game rate. Absolute bargain deal. Bargain deal from Kyle Dubas. Bryce Ferguson, you're right. Jumbo wants to win that Stanley Cup. He's done a lot of great things in his career. Had an illustrious career so far. Over 1,000 points. He is a Hall of Famer. Future Hall of Famer. But the one thing that's missing from his resume is a Stanley Cup. Let's get Jumbo Joe that Stanley Cup. I mean, this team wants to win for veteran players. Like the younger players on this team want to win for the veterans on this team, like Wayne Simmons, Jumbo Joe, and Jason Spezza, that have never won a Stanley Cup. So this team's playing with so much more togetherness, and it really shows. It shows with performances like we saw tonight. After the game, did you see the way that the team went to Jack Campbell after this game and they just rallied around there, jumping around? They were so hyped up for Jack Campbell returning in his first game since January 24th. Everyone was hyped up. Everybody was hyped up, and I love seeing it. This team is playing with so much togetherness, and it's gonna go a long way this season because of it. Marner is a great, talented player. He is certainly a great asset to the Leafs team. Both Marner and Matthews are awesome together. They feed off each other and make hockey a joy to watch. Great comment. And you know what? Matthews wasn't even playing tonight, and we won 4-0. Just wait until Austin Matthews gets back. And don't rush Austin Matthews back either. I've had a wrist injury myself. They're not very easy to recover from. You do not want to rush a wrist injury. Let your star player sit out and let the other stars do the work. Mitch Marner, John Tavares, Joe Thornton, these guys can produce. And when you get Austin Matthews back, it's only going to bolster this lineup even more. This team, it's looking really good. ASC says they love Campbell. He is such a great, lovable dude. Seems like he's got a great attitude. Always got a great attitude. And after the game, he had the interview with one of these headsets on, and he says, "Got to give a shout out to Jason Spezza for that vintage goal." This team is playing with togetherness, and it's a great thing to see because there hasn't been this much togetherness in recent memory on a Toronto Maple Leafs. Not that I can remember. Leafs Forever says Thornton is such a team player and a great dressing room guy too. Experiences go a long way. Exactly. They do. Jumbo Joe Thornton and Mitch Marner, Austin Matthews. It's like Patrick Marleau 2.0, his old teammate. The way that they look each other after a goal, it's awesome. They look up to Jumbo Joe like a big brother. It's amazing. It's amazing to see it. Like, if you think about it, Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews were born the same year that Joe Thornton was drafted first overall. I call that line the 97 line, the 97 connection, because it's interesting that they were born the same year he was drafted. That's actually crazy to think about, but it's awesome. It's awesome that these guys look up to Jumbo Joe, and Jumbo Joe, he just does Jumbo Joe things every night. So, what do you guys think of William Nylander? Can I get your thoughts on William Nylander in the comments section? William Nylander, he got the third straight goal for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He kicked off the game with a goal. Great setup by Mitch Marner. Goes behind the net, sets up the power play really well. As always, elite playmaking ability. But William Nylander puts it through such a small, tight window for a goal. William Nylander starting to turn it up. Look for him to continue this. I'm super excited about what I've been seeing from Willie. Jaden says clutch. William Nylander was very clutch the other night. So clutch the other night. Jaden asks, does Simmons get second line when he comes back? Hyman on the third and Thornton on the first. So that was what we were seeing when Wayne Simmons went down with injury. He just started playing with John Tavares and William Nylander. He started getting going on that second line, but it didn't work out because he had a wrist injury. So I would do it. I like that line combination, especially the way I saw Zach Hyman performing tonight with that third line. I would be down for it. I would be definitely interested in seeing Wayne Simmons go on that second line. The Wayne train, find me two better net front presences on a single line than Wayne Simmons and Joe Thornton. That is a stacked line. Stacked line. You put Nylander there, maybe. I don't know who you put on the wing. People have been skeptical of how William Nylander and John Tavares play together, but you put John Tavares on a line with Wayne Simmons, great net front presences, and I'd be down for it. I like it a lot. Wayne Simmons, I think he should probably get back on that second line, but he can fit anywhere in this lineup. He just gives this team such an extra spark. It's great to see. Jumbo and Nylander, they're great. They really are. Nevin says, I have to admit, I've been hard on Willie lately, but he's really picking up the game. Great to see. A lot of people have been hard on William Nylander. A lot of people have been, and you know what? I'm gonna say it. Sometimes it can be justified, but you don't want to like. He is a star player. He's not a superstar. He's not. I wouldn't necessarily call him an elite talent, but he's a very talented player, and he's around the fourth or fifth best player on the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's a player that you want to have in your lineup. This team without William Nylander, it's not a better team. It's a worse team without William Nylander in the lineup. Sometimes you can say he's not always looking like he's interested, and I understand what you're saying, but this is a player that can go off at any minute. William Nylander is a dangerous, lethal player to have on your team, and he's been demonstrating that the past 2 games, 3 goals. He opened the scoring tonight, and he scored the only 2 goals for the Toronto Maple Leafs the other night, stole 2 points, and technically scored the game winner again tonight. William Nylander scored the game-winning goal 2 straight games. So how do you like that, Willie Nylander haters? Hold on, I got something for you. Game-winning goal, 2 straight games. Love to see it from William Nylander. JB, Nylandemption. It works. Nylandemption. Duncan wants to know, what do I think about trying Thornton, Tavares, Marner, and Nylander, Matthews, Kerfoot for the first 2 lines? So you know what? I did like what I saw from Tavares with Thornton and Tavares tonight. I think that he can get that he can use that as a spark, but I do not want to separate Austin Matthews from Mitch Marner and Joe Thornton. Not yet. If that line struggles at any point in time this season, which I don't really foresee happening, then you can consider doing it. But right now, this is the hottest line in the NHL. You do not want to separate that line. You don't want to separate Matthews, Marner, and Thornton at all. Their chemistry, it's been out of this world. And part of the pitch to bring in Joe Thornton was to play him on a line with Matthews and Marner. I think it could be a mistake to do this. I loved what I saw from the line tonight, but it was just one game. We don't want to go off one game versus what we've been seeing all season long with Matthews, Marner, and Thornton. They've been outstanding together. I don't think you touch that yet. The chemistry, it's out of this world. ASC. These injuries are a blessing in disguise. Keefe gets to juggle the lines to see what works, so when everyone is healthy come playoff times and a line is struggling, he'll know what works and what doesn't work. And you know what, ASC, I'm going to go even further because this was a great comment. It's also a blessing in disguise because we get to see what more people are capable of doing. We can slot other players into this lineup. We haven't even seen Alex Galchenyuk suit up in a Maple Leafs uniform yet. We've seen Nick Petan in the lineup. We've seen Adam Brooks in the lineup, Pierre Engvall, Travis Boyd. We've seen so many depth pieces in this lineup. Nick Robertson hasn't even returned, if he does return. There's been so many players that we've slotted in this lineup, and we have so many players that can perform. It's great to see. It's great to see it. I love that comment. Definitely a blessing in disguise. Roger Matthew says, just how lethal could this team be once all healthy? And that's the thing. We haven't seen this team fully healthy all season long. Wait until we get fully healthy. Matthews was out tonight. Robertson has missed. He's been playing with the Marlies now. Uh, we've seen so many injuries. That's the point I'm getting to. Wayne Simmons missing time. When we get all these key players back, it would be. I'm just. I'm. This team can be scary. This team's scary. It's the best team in the Canadian division by far, and I mean, I think that this team can compete with the big boys in the Colorado Avalanche, Tampa Bay Lightning, Boston Bruins, but I would not be opposed to bringing in another top six forward. I would not be opposed to it, but this team right now, it can be lethal. We just we might be one more piece away from really being putting us over the top. Like we could be pushed over the top if we bring in one more player. But I think that this team right now, when we get all fully healthy, it's a lethal team. SJTC from Australia says, I wouldn't change the lines, but if I did, Hyman, Matthews, and Marner, Thornton, Tavares, Nylander. I think Thornton and Tavares, they could get a good chemistry going, but I'm not I'm not touching that Thornton Matthews Marner combination. It's too lethal. And Zach Hyman tonight, I think Zach Hyman can have his own line on the third line, and you can put him back up on the first line as a rotational role throughout the game. Because sometimes Joe Thornton, he's going to get gassed faster. He's 41 years old. He's going to need some less minutes in a night than a guy like Zach Hyman would. So maybe you start the game with Jumbo Joe on the first line. Zach Hyman can have his own third line. He can run that third line, and then you can just move them up and down as you please. I like the line combination, but that's what I think. If the Leafs win the cup with this group, Dubas is a good GM. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna say that Dubas looks like a good GM right now. I mean, he's fulfilled his promises of uh, resigning all the core four when nobody thought it was possible, and he also fulfilled his other promise of making this team a tougher team to play against this past offseason in a pandemic where there was so much uncertainty, less cap space. It was a very tricky situation, and Kyle Dubas managed it really well this offseason. I liked what I saw from Kyle Dubas. I think he's been doing well. Old School says Galchenyuk in for VC. VC looked better tonight, but I think I would when you can see that Alex Galchenyuk, you need to make sure that Alex Galchenyuk is game ready and he's comfortable with this lineup in practice first. So that's all up to Sheldon Keefe, but I wouldn't be opposed to it. Jimmy VC, he had his first point in 15 games tonight, so that's a plus. Maybe it's something that he can build on, but he's been struggling a lot. He has been struggling a lot. I'll be the first one to call him out on it. He has been struggling, and it's been noticeable because most of the time he hasn't been noticeable. He's been pretty invisible out there, except for when he's falling. Galchenyuk, I think, he's a guy who scored 30 goals in a season back in 2015. If you put him in, maybe he can regain his goal scoring form, but that remains to be seen. It depends on what Sheldon Keefe sees from Galchenyuk at practice, but I can definitely tell you his patience is running thin with Jimmy VC, and so is everyone in Leafs Nation. I see some tweets about Jimmy VC all the time now. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see it. JB says 22, 11, and 12 without Matthews. I mean, 2-0 this year without Matthews, but obviously you'd rather have your superstar goal scorer in there at all times. I'm not going to say that we're a better team without Matthews because I think anyone that thinks that is absolutely delusional. Jack Trout says no trades. We're a good team, and I think we're a great team. But adding one more solid piece, Jack, I believe would push this team over the top. I think it would go a long way if we added a guy like Philip Forsberg, just a top. Philip Forsberg's a top line guy, and he would slot into our second line perfectly with John Tavares and William Nylander. I think that would be a guy the Maple Leafs should look into bringing in. I had a whole trade video on that. You can check that out after. Uh, Jaden says only issue with Galchenyuk is that he isn't a defensive forward, either offense or bust, and that's correct. That's correct. Jaden also says that Leafs should add Eric Stahl, and Eric Stahl, he's a great player. He's a great player. He's won a Stanley Cup with the Carolina Hurricanes. I would love Eric Stahl. I don't know what his contract is right now. He's with Buffalo, but I wouldn't be opposed to it. I don't know what we'd have to give up. Probably not much. I would like that. I'd like Eric Stahl on this team. He would make this team better, but we're still not healthy. So take that into consideration. We're still not a fully healthy team. Eric Stahl would be a great veteran piece. We have so many veterans. Adding Eric Stahl onto this team, it would be great. Jaden says $1 million for Eric Stahl. Okay, yeah, absolutely. If you can get Eric Stahl for $1 million, you go get Eric Stahl for $1 million. Ron Gent says Forsberg. I would love to add Philip Forsberg on this team. These are two guys that I would not be opposed to bringing in. A guy that I would be opposed to bringing in is Jeff Skinner. He's being scratched from that lineup, and he has a massive contract. Poor Buffalo Sabres. Old School says we need to upgrade VC and Engvall. I mean, you know what? Their performances haven't been that great. Pierre Engvall's looked better this year than he has in years past, but still, I don't see him getting consistent playing time throughout the season unless we're facing injuries all the time. Pierre Engvall, he's got a lot of the things that you want to see in a player: the height, the size, and he's a good skater. But he's just, I don't know. He makes some costly mistakes at bad times, and I wouldn't be opposed to it either. VC, y'all know how I feel about him. He's been struggling a lot. And I'll call a spade a spade. He needs to be better. If he wants to maintain a spot on this team, because his time's running out. He hasn't had a point for 15 games coming into tonight. Just 1 point in the last 16 games, and it's an assist. That's a cause for concern. Absolutely a cause for concern. Ron says bring in Eichel. Good luck with that. We would have to give all of our future for Jack Eichel. And the contract, I don't think it fits in here. Jaden says, does Joey Anderson get another shot? Joey Anderson, he's still young. It might not be this year, but if the injuries continue the way that they have been, I think he could. But that's an iffy one. Joey Anderson, didn't see much from him, but I liked him. I think that he's got good potential in the NHL. He's just 22 years old, 3 years left on his contract. So if it's not this year, he'll definitely be getting a shot in the years coming. But I can't guarantee you that he does get a shot this year with how much depth this team has. That bottom six and below that group, there's so many pieces. Adam Brooks, Travis Boyd, Jason Spezza. You have so many players that are just fighting for playing time. Alex Galchenyuk now too. I think Galchenyuk will be pushing his playing opportunities down when you talk about Joey Anderson. I'll get to some comments in a second, but I want to talk about how the Toronto Maple Leafs killed the momentum of a hot team tonight. Because coming into tonight, the Edmonton Oilers had allowed just 7 goals in their last 5 games. That's right, 7 goals in 5 games. The Edmonton Oilers have been outstanding, and Mike Smith, their goaltender, he has been rock solid back there in between the posts for the Edmonton Oilers. I mean, the Toronto Maple Leafs cracked the code tonight. 4 goals. Looked great. We're going to need to see them continue what they were doing tonight. The Toronto Maple Leafs look great tonight, and they need to continue it because they got 2 more games against this tough competition in the Edmonton Oilers. They're second place in this division. The Leafs currently have a 6-point lead on the Edmonton Oilers. So 2 wins for the Oilers puts them just 2 points away from first place in the division. These are pivotal games for the remainder of the season. The Edmonton Oilers, I think they're making their case to be the second best team in the Canadian division right now. Get to some comments here. Mikheyev is a new Grabner, gets a breakaway every game and can't finish. Ilya Mikheyev, you'd like him to score more goals and on the opportunities more. I've seen so many comments about how he gets so many breakaways, but a lot of the breakaways he has is shorthanded. And the fact that he's getting these shorthanded opportunities, it's a testament to his skating ability. Soup plays his role great. He's a great penalty killer. He does a lot of great things defensively. He can score goals too. We saw that last year, but he's been struggling to really contribute to the score sheet this season. The goals will come. The goals will come for Ilya Mikheyev, but it's been a struggle for him offensively for sure. Leafs Forever with a great comment. Thumbs up. Depth is key come playoff time, and the Toronto Maple Leafs have tons of depth on this team. Tons of depth. I've listed the names so many times. I'm not going to do it again. So many depth pieces. If one player goes down, we have another and another and another and another and another and another to come in and fill their skates if we need them to. If need be, because of injuries, we can have someone come in and give us production. We have seen this on a number of occasions this season. So, yes, it's going to be key come playoffs. And with this pandemic, hasn't hit the Maple Leafs or anything yet, but it's going to be even more key. It's going to be more key this year, more than ever. Depth is going to be a necessity, and the Toronto Maple Leafs have it. Where does Brabanov slot in with a healthy group? And I think that Brabanov, he looked better tonight, but in games past, I think that he's kind of been, he's been iffy. He hasn't been very noticeable. He hasn't stood out too much to me. But tonight he did. He was playing with William Nylander. That line looked good tonight. But I don't know. I feel as if he's going to be one of those guys who maybe gets some time on the fourth line, playing a rotational role. I don't think he's going to get too much playing time when this group is fully healthy. We got Wayne Simmons back. People are going to be pushed out of the lineup if we get this group fully healthy. So it's going to be hard for him to get playing time consistently. Just the same as a guy like Pierre Engvall. It's going to be hard to get him playing time consistently. So it remains to be seen, but that's my take on it. William Bennett. Marner has 323 points in his 322 career games. Mitch Marner is elite, an elite playmaker, and he's always had that shot in his arsenal, but he hasn't really used it like he has this year. 10 goals already this season for Mitchell Marner. Outstanding player, elite player, an elite playmaker, and he does things that only he can do. Like you're blown away by what Mitch Marner does on a nightly basis. He almost every night, he has a play that it makes you go, wow. He has the wow factor. He is an X factor player, and I've loved what I've seen from Mitch Marner this year. He said coming into the season that he wanted to score more goals, and he wanted to shoot the puck more frequently. He has been. He has a high shooting percentage, and he's been great, stellar for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's been living up to that contract this year. He's doing what you need to do, and we need to see this continue throughout the remainder of the season. He's been, over the past 2 seasons combined, prior to this year, he has the highest points per game total on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Mitch Marner is a special player. He's amazing. Ron Gent says the Leafs will go deep this year. I believe. I believe it. I believe it. I believe in this team. I believe in this team to go deep and make a run this season. The Toronto Maple Leafs are well equipped more than ever. More than, well, in years recent, since 1967. This team is well equipped, and I'm excited to see this team get fully healthy and see what we can do come playoff time. This North Division, it's going to be tough to make it out of. We could be running into a team like Montreal, Edmonton. These playoff matchups in the North Division are all going to be exciting. The Toronto Maple Leafs need to keep it up. Great comment, JB. Oilers had no power play tonight, and I think that is a key to beating the Edmonton Oilers. If you can not take penalties against this high voltage offense, the Edmonton Oilers have 2 generational superstars themselves on their team, Leon Draisaitl, Connor McDavid. Outstanding players. You cannot give them power play opportunities. No power plays. The Toronto Maple Leafs, they've been taking more penalties than you'd like them to throughout this entire season. There's some nights where they just take a number of penalties and you're just begging for it to stop, but it won't. Toronto Maple Leafs tonight, no penalties, and the less man advantages the other team has, the more likelihood you have of winning. Great comment, JB. ASE says Kerfoot has absolutely turned his season around. So impressed with his competitive level. I agree. ASE, great comment. Again, you've always got a bunch of great comments, and thank you for them. Alex Kerfoot, last season, Alex Kerfoot got criticized a lot, right? He struggled to get comfortable in this lineup. He was the other piece that we got with Tyson Barrie. But this year, Alex Kerfoot is he's solidifying his role on that third line as the third line center, and he's been great. He's been great for the Toronto Maple Leafs this year. He's a workhorse. He's getting in the dirty areas. He does great things, and he's been a little scrappy. Tonight he was a little scrappy, a little chippy. I liked what I saw from Alex Kerfoot. There were so many players that have been stepping up from the Toronto Maple Leafs this year. I think that this whole locker room is playing with so much togetherness. They're sick of all the 1967 jokes, the Zamboni driver jokes. This team needs to come together and continue what they've been doing this year, because this team has potential to build something special. I'm super excited about it. There's a comment here. Ron Keats says Montreal will be lucky to make the playoffs. They got a tricky situation going on right there. They have a new head coach. They have their head coach and their assistant coach fired, so that's definitely a lot to overcome. They had a bad 8-game stretch, and yeah, I mean, I think they're still a good team. They still have a lot of good players. Let's not underrate the Montreal Canadiens. But right now, with their coaching situation, I agree with you. They would be lucky to make the playoffs, but I wouldn't be surprised to see them make the playoffs either. They're good. They still have a lot of great players. The line of Marner and Thornton looked great tonight, and John Tavares, he looked right down the middle for them, but I'm not ready to switch Austin Matthews out for John Tavares. I saw a comment about it. Let's not go there, because that top line, Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, and Joe Thornton have been outstanding. But I did love what I saw from that line tonight. Great comment, Jason. Old school. Well, fact here. Nazem Kadri and Alex Kerfoot have the same amount of points. So that other piece that we got in that trade that sent Nazem Kadri to Colorado, he's been performing for us better than that's a great stat. Great stat to see. Ron Keith says, I like how Hall jumped Dennis after running Campbell. I got that. I got that clip for you. Here it is. I loved seeing that as well. You love seeing your players step up and, be protective of that crease. I was a defenseman when I played hockey. You couldn't go near my goaltender. You're not going near the goalie. That's a great attitude that Justin Hall had, intentional or not. You cannot let that happen to your goaltender. Justin Hall stands up for the goalie, and that defensive pairing of Justin Hall and Jake Muzzin, it's been a shutdown pairing, the best defensive pairing for the Toronto Maple Leafs this season, and it's not really close. They've been outstanding together. Justin Hall leads his team in block shots. He's been stellar, and he's clearly got great relationship with the goaltenders. The goaltenders have to love having Justin Hall and Jake Muzzin in front of them. Those are guys that are going to stand up and clear that goal crease. I loved what I saw. You got to stand up for the goalie. You can't let that happen. Like I said earlier, the Leafs have three goaltenders with winning records this season, and that's great. We have depth all around this lineup. We've been praising how much defensive depth we have in this forward group as well. But how about our goalie depth? We've seen Michael Hutchinson come in and have a couple good performances now. Jack Campbell, his third career shutout tonight. Frederik Andersen, he's been the Rock for years. We have three goaltenders that can win games. They're not like the team in front of them is going to play, and they're usually going to get points on the board. You need the goal production, obviously, but the Maple Leafs goaltenders have come to play, and we have three goalies with a winning record so far this season. That's such a valuable stat to see. Remember, Campbell got hurt last time by Tkachuk. That's right. Duncan says, I'm very happy with Bogosian so far this season. Me too. Zach Bogosian he's been pleasantly, for some people, I'm not surprised by what I've seen by him, but for some people, I'd say that he's been a pleasant surprise. Zach Bogosian came in this season after he won a Stanley Cup with the Tampa Bay Lightning last year. He's played on a lot of bad teams prior to that. He's faced a lot of injuries. This guy was drafted really high in the draft a little while ago, a long time ago, but he is a veteran now, and he's played his role perfectly on that third defensive pairing. Been a great veteran beside Travis Dermott and Mikko Lehtinen at times. I've loved what I've seen from Bogosian. The first two games were rough for him. He took two penalties in the first game, and it was painful to watch that first game. And that Ottawa series, he didn't look too good either, just to start the season. But he's gotten comfortable with his team, and he's really turned it around. He's looked great. Bogosian showed he means business. He even challenged Chabot to a fight. I don't think Thomas Chabot wants that fight. I definitely don't think he wants that fight with Zach Bogosian. We need his scariness and big body for the playoffs. Yeah, Zach Bogosian. He's a big body. We got a lot of big bodies on this team. Bogosian, Simmons, Thornton. This team has gotten tougher to play against, just like Kyle Dubas promised. Kyle Dubas made that promise, everybody. And this team has been tougher to play against. Bogosian is a good defenseman. He will help in the playoffs. Shutdown defenseman. He can be a shutdown defenseman on that third pairing. He's going to be valuable for the playoffs. He played in 20 playoff games last year, had 4 assists with Tampa Bay, and he won the Stanley Cup. Just think about this, though. Zach Bogosian, before last season, teams he played for were the Atlanta Thrashers, and then they became the Winnipeg Jets, so he's on some bad Jets teams. And then he played for Buffalo, and they waived him because he wanted out of there. He wanted out of Buffalo. And He signs with the Tampa Bay Lightning. 20 games in the playoffs, 4 assists, wins a Stanley Cup. He had never played in a playoff game prior to last season, and he won a Stanley Cup. It's great to have someone who's won a Stanley Cup on this defense, just like Jake Muzzin. It's another player with a lot of playoff performance history, and that's great to see. Bogo is a better version of Roman Polak. I like that comment. I like that comment a lot. That's interesting. Tonight was the Toronto Maple Leafs' first shutout of the season. There's been times where we've come close. But then we have a late third goal period allowed or something. Not tonight. Team rallied behind Jack Campbell in his return. He had 30 saves, a stellar performance. He earned one of the 3 stars of the game, deservingly so. His first game since January 24th. He looked great in his return, and the Toronto Maple Leafs really used that as a rallying point. Everybody on the Toronto Maple Leafs, top to bottom tonight, performed, and they all played their role perfectly. It was great to see it. Love seeing it. We got a Hot Take Hockey raid here. Shout out to Hot Take Hockey. Thank you for this, Hot Take Hockey. This is a raid. We have a raid in here. Toronto Maple Leafs with a big dub tonight. Let's go. This is Canada's team. Let's go. How about we play a game of true or false here? This performance was the performance that John Tavares needed, and it will boost his confidence, and he's going to use this as a building block going forward. Is this statement true or is it false? Let me know in the comment section what you all think. Is this a true or false statement? Get fired up. We are fired up. Hot Take Hockey. Thank you for the raid. And if you're watching this on here and you're not being sent by this raid, make sure you check out Hot Take Hockey. Guy's a legend. Got great content over there on Hot Take Hockey. Always pumping it out. Go Leafs, go. Go Leafs, go. Great win tonight. Check this out. You get away from our goalie. You don't come at our goalie. Justin Hall and Jake Muzzin, they patrol that crease, and they patrol it with passion. These players playing in front of Jack Campbell tonight. Jack Campbell with his 3rd shutout of his career, and it was great to see. It was great to see that. The Toronto Maple Leafs all performed tonight, and big dubs with a 4-0 victory over the Edmonton Oilers. What's everyone thinking about this win here tonight? Legends in the chat. Let's keep growing. Hot Take Hockey YouTube. Hockey YouTube, it's growing. It's growing. Let's keep it going. Thank you for the sub, Pamela. Appreciate the sub. It's a grind. Always coming on here on Maple Leafs Media, night in and night out, every day, pumping out the content. It's fun talking Maple Leafs, talking hockey with everybody in the comment section. It's really fun to do, and it was a great victory for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Leafs Forever says big win for us tonight. Big dubs for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Roger says one more big nasty body would put us over the top. I agree with that. How about when we get the Wayne Train back, though? The Wayne Train is a big nasty body, and I'm super excited to get that man back. How about this? Look at this. The Wayne Train. It's on a shirt. And if you're interested in getting these shirts, you can check out the link below. The Wayne Train. Yes. There's new Maple Leafs Media merch. Maple Leafs Media merch. The whole shop is in the description of this video. You can check it out after. And also, there's mugs, t-shirts. Working on getting more stuff out, more designs. My girlfriend works on them. This right here. Canada's team. You know why we're Canada's team? Well, not only because we have such a great history, But also, the Toronto Maple Leafs have a 6-point lead on the Edmonton Oilers, and we're first place in this North Division. We're going to take this North Division. We're going to go into the playoffs. We're going to use that momentum, and hopefully we can go to the promised land. Just keep calm and belief in this team. My belief is running high. The Toronto Maple Leafs, with their first shutout of the year, it was a great performance tonight. And here's my picture with Connor McDavid. Just why not? Yep, that's my picture with Connor McDavid, everybody. Can't really see me, but that's my picture with Connor McDavid. And in that picture, he looks about as happy as he did tonight because he got blown out tonight by the Toronto Maple Leafs. I mean, Toronto Maple Leafs 4-0 big dubs over the second team in the North Division. It was great to see. So tonight, this Toronto Maple Leafs team looked great. Thank you, everybody, for making this a great post-game show. Monday night, I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to come on here because the game starts at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday night. So I may have a guest on here Monday night around 8 p.m. And I think we're going to do a pregame show. A pregame show for the Toronto Maple Leafs Edmonton Oilers game. Give some predictions. Get your predictions ready. I want to see you all back here Monday night. Toronto Maple Leafs Edmonton Oilers, first of 3 tonight with a big dub. Thank you all for watching this video. I'm your guy Jake, and until next time, well, go Toronto. Thank you for the subscription. Everyone, thank you for the constant support. Maple Leafs Media, this brand's growing, and it's been a really fun ride. It's great to see Hockey YouTube growing. Had Hot Take Hockey in here earlier. He had a raid. He rated this channel. Thank you for that, Hot Take Hockey. Big shout out to him. If you haven't already, make sure you check his content out. That's the second time he's rated this channel. Huge shout out to him. So smash that like button, hit the notification bell. And everybody, most importantly, the world's crazy. It's a crazy place. It's great to have hockey back, and it's great to see the Toronto Maple Leafs having a successful season so far. But make sure you all stay safe out there because the world's a crazy place. Until next time, Monday night, 8 p.m. Have a good night and stay safe. I'm your guy, Jake.